Hey, it's Carl from artofshred.com, and today we're going to do the top 10 riffs from one of my favorite bands, Black Sabbath. Now, you might know if you've seen some previous videos, but Tony Iommi was one of the reasons I started learning guitar, the other being Kurt Cobain. And actually, this guitar right here, my first guitar, has 3 humbuckers, just like a photo of a SG I saw that Tony Iommi was playing. Now, obviously, I couldn't afford an SG like that, so when I saw this guitar, it was pretty much a done deal. Anyway, so it's been a while since I've jammed on Sabbath riffs, Sabbath songs, but when I was just starting out learning, it was like I would play these first 8 albums on repeat and just learn as much as I could. And I think these albums have still held up. And I do say the first 8 albums because for me, I'm one of those people. That's Black Sabbath. The first 8 albums with Ozzy. I know there are some good songs after, and Tony Iommi never lost his touch as far as riff writing, but we're doing the first 8 albums, and that is difficult enough for a top 10 list because Tony Iommi is just such a great songwriter, and there are so many great riffs. And on a related note, no Paranoid on this list, no Iron Man on this list. Those riffs have retired to the Riff Hall of Fame. They've transcended lists like this, and it would be an insult to put either of those riffs on a list like this. So, with that all said, let's get to it. All right, so number 10, this might be controversial because this is one of the albums that people just don't like. I mean, the last 2 albums, the last 2 Ozzy albums from the 70s are not people's favorite, but I'm a big fan of Technical Ecstasy. I know they were out of their minds on drugs when making this album, so it's kind of weird, but a lot of great riffs on it. And in particular, there's this one riff, which is number 10. It's all moving parts stand still. That it's like it's after the verse, after the chorus. After the verse or the chorus. I'm losing my memory right now. But in any case, it's almost a throwaway riff, but it just sounds really cool to me. And it's very simple, but it is what it is. Here it is. All moving parts stand still from Technical Ecstasy. Coming in at number 9, from the album Sabotage, my favorite song from this album, a song and I think a riff that influenced metal bands probably to this day. When you hear this riff, you can just hear everything that came after it. So it's Symptom of the Universe from Sabotage, coming in at number 9 right now. All right, number 8, from the album Paranoid, the song War Pigs, and specifically the verse riff to War Pigs. You'd think I'd choose the intro, which sounds just phenomenal, but no, the verse riff just to me is just such a cool little riff. And yeah, number 8, War Pigs. At number 7, we've got Under the Sun, the verse riff from the album Volume 4. Now, Volume 4, the way it starts has just, I think, one of the coolest start to an album ever. But that riff didn't make it on this list. Wheels of Confusion, I think it is. And Under the Sun did, because, well, I just love this riff. So here we go. Number 7, Under the Sun, from the album Volume 4. Number 6. So the first Black Sabbath album it's an interesting album to me. It's actually not one that I listen to too often. It's very like bluesy. It's got harmonica. And speaking of harmonica, the number 6 riff is the Wizard intro, which the guitar just kind of follows the harmonica. So a really cool riff, very bluesy riff, but still very heavy Black Sabbath-esque riff. So number 6, The Wizard. Number 5. This is such a great riff, and it's almost like if we were to take the most famous Sabbath riffs after Paranoid and Iron Man, I think this might be it. So it's the title track to Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, the riff. So here we go. Number 5. Is that what we're gonna call it? The riff. Number 5, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Number 4. Back when I was in high school, I think junior year, I was in a very short-lived band, and I'm not a singer, but we didn't have a singer, so I sang this song, NIB, from the self-titled debut album, the NIB verse riff. Kind of an iconic riff. You've probably heard it a million times before, and it's a great riff. So here we go. Number 4, NIB. Number 3, another one off Volume 4, Supernaut. This is just, it's such a cool kind of like fluid but heavy riff. And if you listen to like bands like Down, you can see like the direct influence Sabbath had on bands like that, especially when you hear riffs like the Supernaut riff, coming in at number 3. We're getting down to it. Number 2, from the self-titled album, from the self-titled song Black Sabbath. But it's not the intro and verse riff, which, yes, is a great riff, beautiful sounding tritone, but the riff that comes way later in the song, let's call it the bridge, is again a riff you hear how this riff influenced so many metal bands that came after it. It's kind of a fast, down-picking, chugging riff, and it's just beautiful. So at number 2, the Black Sabbath bridge riff. All right, here we go. Number 1. If you watched my Firefly FFLG review video, you've heard this riff. So I'm not actually going to play the whole riff here. what I'm gonna do is play just the main theme, but in that video, I play it for like a minute, the whole intro. And the song is Into the Void. Possibly my favorite riff of all time, one of my favorite songs of all time, my favorite Black Sabbath song, my favorite Black Sabbath riff. So of course, it's number one on the top 10 list of Black Sabbath riffs. So here we go, Into the Void. So there we have it, the top 10 Black Sabbath riffs. Possibly controversial? Did I miss something? Did you hate one of these riffs? Cool, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to Art of Shred and hit the little bell. Those things seem small, but they help a lot. So thank you so much and see you next time. Under the from the album, we're getting down to it.